Welcome to Psycoding lecture. Today we'll talk about do while loop. Now, the term itself will say something. The meaning says that first you do something and then it will work accordingly like a while loop works. So if you haven't watched my previous video about while loop and for loop or what is a loop, then go and watch it in my channel. It's there, every video is there. So today we'll discuss about do while loop. Before saying that do while loop, first let me say that why we need a do while loop. If a while loop is there, it's fine. We can work with a while loop. Then suddenly why you need to add this do thing which is in front of this while loop? Like, okay. So I will tell you the use of do while loop, why this concept came. Because there are certain statements which first need to be executed before checking the condition. Right? Before checking a particular condition, you need to execute certain statements. For that reason, we have this concept called do while loop. Previously, if you could recall for a bit that what we read in while loop is first you have to check the condition and then the things will execute within that particular thing. If there is any statement within that while loop, then only it will execute if the while loop is true, right? But in this case, it is something different. That's why this concept came, right? Like first, the do statements inside do, if you have multiple statements, that will get execute first and then the condition will be checked. That is what I have written over here for your understanding. Is that do while loop is a looping statement in C that executes the loop body at least once. Mind it, this thing is very much important, that this will execute the loop body at least once even if the condition is false. Keep this in mind, that do while loop every time it will execute at least for once even if your condition is what? False, right? We'll get back to the syntax of do while loop, which we write in this way. This is like a normal loop, while loop actually, like we write the while keyword here. If you can recall from my last lecture, this is the keyword and this is the condition, and this semicolon is a new part added over here because this is a proper syntax in C. Whenever you write a do while loop, then there the while condition, if you mention in this way, then you have to put a semicolon. If you don't put, then it will generate an error. That is called a syntactical error, or you can say syntax error. It will give you a syntactical error, syntax error. So it is very must to put a semicolon. If you forget, then yeah, you will sure get an error. Okay, so keep that in mind whenever you're using in such a way. Do is what? Do is simply a keyword. We know we have certain keywords in Python. In C, we have certain keywords, right? So these keywords are maybe 32 keywords we have in C. So one of them is do. So we have to write this do keyword before we are writing a do while loop. Then coming on this flow of execution, that how a do while loop executes normally. First, the executes the code inside the do. First, what I told is, if there are statements, some printf statements are there, you're printing hello or you're printing hi, something. There are various printf statements in this do, inside this curly brackets, right? Those will be printed first. That is what is this line says, that executes the code inside do. And then it checks the condition, which means first it will execute the statements, the print the output, and then it will check the condition if there is any condition I greater than 0 or something like that. Check the condition. If the condition is true, it will repeat the loop. If this condition is true, again the do statements will print accordingly, like hi, hello, print, and this way it will continue. The statements will repeatedly print if this condition is true. If this condition is false, it will get out of the loop. So what is the advantage of it? You might be thinking that it is working like a while loop, but if you have thought about it, that the line which I said, and even I have underlined it over here, that is that for the first time the do statements is executing even if you haven't checked the condition yet. At first, whatever is written in the do, it will get printed in the output screen, and then then you will go for the condition, and if for the first time the condition is false, even if in console or in output, you will get those output as a statement will get printed even if this condition is false. I hope I have made it clear a bit. So let's get into difference. What is the difference between while and a do while? A while says that it goes before a loop. The condition is before the loop, obviously. We have read it, and today we saw that this is after loop. The condition is after the loop. Likewise, we can see over here the condition is after the loop. Here, this is 0 times. In while loop, the minimum execution is 0 times. But here, at least there is the expectation that even if the condition is false, for at least one time the condition will the statements will execute, you will see some execution. Another thing is in while loop, in simple normal while you don't have semicolon, in do while you have a semicolon. So this is a basic difference apart from this. Another most important thing is I forgot to wrote here, over here is sometimes in your exam it will not be told as mentioned do while loop or while loop. So you must know these two terms, which is exit control loop, entry control loop. What do you mean by the entry control and exit control? Entry control loops are while loop and for loop, and exit control loops are only your do while loop. Why we say exit control? Because if you see the syntax properly, you will get to know that it is in the exit line, right? The condition is mentioned in the exit line. That's why we say that do while is the exit control loop. While exiting from the loop, you are having a condition. So first condition is not checked, first statements are printed and then condition is checked. That's why exit control loop. Why we say while and for are entry control loop? Because first condition is checked and then only you can enter into the controlled, which means control will enter into and then it will print accordingly. First condition is checked and then statements are executed. That's why we say these are entry control, while and for, and do while is a exit control loop. Okay. So even if in your question it states that explain entry and exit control loop, they're asking you about while, for, and do while. So this confusion is cleared for now. We'll move on to this example, which says this is a good example of a do while loop. I have chosen this example for a reason. Why so? Because I wanted to say that why we need a do while loop. If everything is done using while loop, then what's the use? The use is that if you want to display some menu driven programs, right? Like you want a constant menu, that this will be there. Another thing is taking a user input at least once, or you want a password validation or any ATM option. See, if I give you a practical example, everyone has a password in their phone other than fingerprints. So sometimes whenever you have to enter a password, so you first on the screen and then you get the option enter the password, right? So you get that option for the first time. It is not checking that whether this condition is true, which means this is the right password or wrong password. First you are given a chance to enter a password, you entered and then it is checked, right? So for the first time it is getting executed. So I will show you a program related to that as well, so that you get it clear. That first it should have the opportunity to execute. Same with ATM options as well. First you get an option, then it is checked that whether that pin or something is correct, entered or not, or it is wrong, and then accordingly it fails. So this is the way thing works. Why we need a do while, for especially for menu driven programs you need a do while loop. So I have explained over here. This is I've taken a choice, and there I have printed add, subtract and exit. Whenever you are entering a choice, it is scan. These statements will print for the first time, and then when the condition is checked and it is not equal to 3, which means condition is true, again it will keep on printing. This is how the loop repeats. But suppose this condition is false, which means it is not equal to 3, then it will exit from the loop, right? But if it is equal to 3, not equal to 3 means the condition is true, so it will keep on executing. But suppose it is equal to 3, then it will exit from the loop, like this option says. So this is how for the menu driven program we use it. Also we have one example. This is a good example. See, one thing maybe in your mind that if I can do this, that I have a while condition over here, and before that I can write multiple printf statements, and I can get in the output, I can get many various printf statements for the first time, and then you can execute the while loop accordingly. But what if this condition is somehow false? See, this is what? No, this is true. Okay, this condition is true, right? While is, suppose if this is false, this will go out, exit. But suppose it is true, then what to do? Like you have here number is greater than equal to 0, less than equal to 0. Okay, so that means the number is negative, yet you didn't receive a positive number. You said it is invalid input. So again you should give a chance to the user to enter the number, right? But here you can't. That is the disadvantage of a while loop. But here in do while you can do it without a repetitive statement. Here we can do it, it is possible, but again I have to scan. Again I have to scan it. That is the main issue over here. But here I don't need to scan. Why so? Because enter a positive number. Whenever I am saying entering a positive number, then the number is taken in num, right? You have a number in num, that is 5. And the 5, now if it is minus 5 is less than equal to 0, this condition is true. If this condition is true, again you have to ask from the user that this is wrong, you give me a valid one. So again you have to print this line, enter a positive number, you have to scan that number. So again you will write that printf statement. So that's why we use do. Automatically when this condition is true, it will again go and print this line in the console, in the output screen, that enter a positive number. This was wrong, you enter it again it will be checked. So every time the user should get opportunities. That's why we use a do while loop. So what it does is it removes the code duplication. It is best for input validation. So it removes the code duplication. It reduces your time complexity, which is n to the power a number of n times, that has been reduced to one time. So this is how it has been reduced. There are various other ways. So this way will I have covered everything about a while loop, do while loop actually. So in the next video I will try to cover something maybe interesting in C. So do watch it, like, share, subscribe to the channel, and keep on learning.